Welcome along to the People Stack. This is where we try to break down the practical stuff, people management, payroll, compliance, especially for, India's startup scene. I'm your host, and today's conversation is brought to you by Offered. They're your friendly HR automation partner, really built for Indian startups and small businesses. Now, before we get started, just a quick heads up, but it's important what we talk about here. It's for general knowledge, our opinions. Please, always talk to a proper payroll consultant or a lawyer. Don't make big decisions based just on what you hear us discuss, okay? We're here to share ideas, not give formal advice. Right. So today we're kind of diving into something that I think, a lot of founders might underestimate. I know I did early on. Payroll. That simple click in your banking app. Turns out it's not so simple for long, is it? Because payroll in India, it's way more than just moving money around. It's legally sensitive. It's heavy on compliance. Get it right, and you build credibility, employee trust. You're ready for audits. It brings peace of mind, genuinely. Get it wrong. Well, the fallout can be pretty significant.
So to help us unpack all of this, we've got someone with us who deals with this stuff day in, day out. So I've definitely heard founders say, payroll's just hit and send on the banking app. Is that really the biggest blind spot you see? Or is there something even sort of deeper they miss?
Oh, absolutely. That's the number one misconception. And honestly, it's quite a risky one. Payroll is just sending money. It sounds simple, but it completely ignores, everything underneath the surface. Legally speaking, payroll covers so much more ground. We're talking about calculating the gross pay accurately first, then making the correct deductions for statutory things. Provident Fund PF, employees' state insurance ESI, and tax deducted at source. TDS. And it's not just the numbers. It's about generating properly structured pay slips. Those documents are vital for employees, right? For loans, visas, plus you've got to track leaves accurately, calculate any loss of pay or LOPs, and making sure you're following state-specific rules, like the Shops and Establishment Acts. They vary. And the key thing here is these aren't nice-to-haves. They're not optional extras. No, they're mandatory. They're the legal foundation of your operation. Take the EPF Act, for instance. It actually encourages registration even if you have fewer than 20 employees. It's about starting compliant. Or ESI, it's mandatory if you have even one employee earning less than $21,000 per month. And think about Form 16s. Employees need those annual tax certificates when they leave, or for other financial stuff. These are legal obligations, you see. It builds trust.
Okay, so you've clearly laid out the must-dos, the non-negotiables.
Right.
But if they are mandatory, why do so many founders seem to, stumble here? What's stopping them from getting these crucial steps right from the start?
Yeah, it's rarely about deliberately breaking rules. It's more often, the sheer pace of a startup. Founders are juggling everything: product sales, funding, operations, you name it. Payroll feels like
Yeah,
admin.
something they can wait.
Exactly. It feels like a background task you can sort out later, until later becomes an emergency. HR and compliance, they often get, sidelined because they don't feel like they directly help land the next big client or close the funding round. And there's another thing, too. Early on, your first hires might be friends, people who really believe in the vision.
Right, they might not ask for a payslip immediately.
Precisely. They might not demand pay slips or Form 16s right away. And that can create this false sense of security. Like, oh, we're small, we'll sort it later. But the real problem, the nightmare scenario, hits when those employees do need those documents. Maybe for a home loan, a visa application, or when they decide to move on. Trying to go back and fix months or even years of payroll records, retrofitting it, it's incredibly hard, time-consuming, expensive, like trying to rebuild the foundations after the house is built.
Yeah, that fix it when it breaks approach sounds familiar, but definitely dangerous here. Okay, let's shift from the why to the what happens next. What are the real tangible risks if a founder just keeps ignoring these payroll basics? What's actually on the line?
The stakes are incredibly high, and they don't just affect your finances, they hit everywhere. First off, employee trust. It takes a massive knock. If people aren't getting proper pay slips or if deductions feel wrong,
It sends a bad signal.
a very bad signal. It basically says their rights, their financial security aren't top priority. That directly impacts confidence, morale, and leads to people leaving. Imagine your star developer gets rejected for a loan because their paperwork isn't right. That's awful. Then, of course, there are the penalties. Non-compliance isn't just a slap on the wrist. We're talking potentially serious financial penalties under Indian labor and tax laws, fines, backdated interest. It can even lead to legal action against the company directors.
And audits must be terrifying if you're not compliant.
Exactly. An audit can uncover everything, leading to even bigger problems, maybe even drawing attention from other regulators.
Yeah.
And there's the operational mess. Many founders try to just dump this on their CA, their chartered accountant. Look, CAs are brilliant at accounts and tax filings, but asking them to track individual employee leave days for LOP or manage detailed joining formalities, it's often outside their usual scope.
So you end up burdening them with stuff they aren't really set up for.
Yes, exactly. You burden them, things get delayed, maybe mistakes happen, and then you're back to that trust issue with your team. I've seen CAs get really frustrated trying to make sense of messy spreadsheets. And finally, there's reputation damage. This is huge. Ignoring proper payroll looks bad to potential hires. Good people want professional setups. It also screams operational weakness to investors. During due diligence, messy payroll is a massive red flag. It can genuinely hurt your chances of getting funding. So you're risking your team, your money, your efficiency, and your growth potential. It's all connected.
Wow, okay. That paints a pretty stark picture. It really cascades, doesn't it? So, given all that, what's a smarter way? How can founders tackle this properly without needing, a huge in-house HR department right from day one?
The smart move, especially for startups and growing businesses, is definitely technology. You need to use a tool, a specialized platform, one that's actually built for the Indian context, understanding our specific compliance needs. Think about it. Instead of drowning in spreadsheets,
Which are so easy to mess up.
so easy, and constantly chasing your CA for every little detail, you automate the core stuff. Tools like Offered, for example, are designed for this exact problem. They automate the salary calculations, ensuring accuracy. They handle the deductions PF, ESI, TDS automatically and correctly. Keeps you compliant. They generate those professional compliant payslips easily, so employees get what they need when they need it. And crucially, they help track leave, which ties directly into getting LOP calculations right, avoiding arguments later. The big win is getting rid of what I call Excel chaos, those monster spreadsheets no one fully understands.
Yeah, I know those well.
And it stops the endless back and forth with your CA on tasks they shouldn't really be doing. It just streamlines the whole process. Saves time, saves money, saves a lot of stress, lets you focus on actually growing the business.
That makes a lot of sense. Moving from manual chaos to automated reliability. Okay, last thought then. What's the mindset shift founders need? Clearly, payroll isn't just about avoiding fines. How should they view it as part of building their company?
That's a great question, and it's really about perspective. I often tell founders, think of payroll like good code.
Okay, like code. How so?
Well, like clean code, your payroll system needs to be clean, repeatable, and traceable. You should be able to look back anytime and see exactly how a salary was calculated, why a deduction was made, how it was processed. It builds a solid, auditable record. But it's bigger than just process. Payroll is fundamental to your company culture. It sends a really powerful message to your team. Yes, they need their salary, obviously, but beyond the money, they're looking for structure. They're looking for professionalism, and maybe most importantly, they're looking for trust in their employer. When you handle payroll meticulously, transparently, compliantly, it tells your team you value them, you respect their rights, and you're building something legitimate and stable.
So it's a foundation of that employer-employee relationship.
Absolutely. It directly impacts your ability to not just attract, but keep good people, especially in a competitive market like India's startup ecosystem. Think about it.
Yeah.
Would you be excited to join a company that can't even get your payslip right? Probably not. It reflects on your operational maturity.
Structure, professionalism, and trust. That really reframes it. So thinking about that competitive market, how does getting payroll right act as like a silent recruitment tool?
It's huge for your employer brand, even if it's subtle. Look, talented people have options today, right? Especially in tech and startups. They aren't just comparing salary figures. They're looking at the whole package, including stability and whether the company seems professionally run. A company that nails payroll sends a signal. We're organized, we're compliant, we respect our employees. That makes you attractive. On the flip side, if word gets out that a company's payroll is messy or unreliable, that damages your reputation fast. It makes it harder to hire and easier for people to leave. It's a core part of showing you're a credible employer.
Payroll as a pillar of your employer brand. That's a really critical point. Thank you so much for shedding light on just how complex, but also how important payroll compliance is in India. It's clearly something every founder needs to prioritize from the very beginning.
And that's all the time we have for today on the People Stack. We really hope this conversation helped clarify why payroll in India is so much more than a simple bank transfer, and why getting it right is foundational for building a successful, trustworthy startup. This episode was powered by Offered HR Automation, designed for Indian startups. You can check them out at www.frd.co, that's osf-rd.co, to get started and simplify your own payroll process. Thanks for listening. Catch you next time.